The evening shift had consistently been a tranquil time for Jada, a 28-year-old waitress at Poppy's Cafe, a quaint establishment located in a serene area of town. The clientele primarily consisted of regulars, retired locals who frequented the cafe to savor their coffee and engage in conversations, reminiscing about days gone by. For Jada, this routine provided a soothing respite, characterized by a leisurely pace and minimal disruptions. However, this evening, that familiar ambiance was disrupted. Just prior to closing, the bell above the door jingled, and in entered an unexpected guest. Jada momentarily froze, her eyes widening in recognition. It was Elon Musk, one of the most prominent figures in the world, strolling into the cafe as if he were merely another patron. His arrival drew immediate attention. Even the regulars turned to glance, some whispering in confusion. Jada's heart raced. She had seen Elon numerous times on television, in interviews, and across social media platforms. Yet, here he was, appearing somewhat fatigued but still exuding an undeniable confidence. He settled into a small booth by the window, gazing outside, seemingly lost in thought. Regaining her composure, Jada inhaled deeply and approached his table. With her warmest smile, she inquired, "What can I get for you this evening?" "Just a coffee, please," he replied. "Black, and perhaps a slice of whatever pie you have." "Coming right up," Jada responded, striving to maintain a casual demeanor. As she returned to the counter, she felt the weight of the other customers' gazes upon her. Some regulars were already murmuring, a few appearing somewhat displeased, though Jada could not discern the reason. As she poured his coffee and plated a slice of apple pie, she reminded herself that he was simply a customer. Determined to provide him with the same friendly service she offered everyone else, even if he was indeed Elon Musk, she returned to his table and placed his order before him. "Thank you," he said, taking a sip and glancing out the window once more. He seemed absorbed in his thoughts, perhaps contemplating something significant. Jada sensed that he had endured a taxing day, and she found herself feeling a degree of sympathy for him. Regardless of his status, everyone required a serene environment to relax. Jada returned to her duties behind the counter, keeping herself occupied while occasionally glancing at Elon. She experienced a blend of curiosity and admiration for him. He was a driven individual, perpetually striving for the unattainable. However, it appeared that not all patrons in the cafe shared her perspective. Eventually, an older gentleman, a regular named Frank, known for his candid remarks, rose from his seat and approached Elon's table. Jada observed with apprehension, uncertain of Frank's intentions. "Excuse me," Frank began, his voice rough, yet loud enough to draw the attention of those nearby. "Aren't you the individual who once supported OpenAI? You helped establish it, didn't you?" Elon looked up, pausing mid-sip. "Yes, I was involved in the initial stages," he responded with composure. Frank crossed his arms, skepticism evident on his face. "So why did you sue them? And now, from what I understand, you're developing your own AI project, similar to theirs. Isn't that somewhat contradictory?" Elon exhaled, placing his coffee cup down. "I have reservations about the trajectory OpenAI is taking. I believe AI should be aligned with truth and free from hidden agendas. That is why I initiated XAI. I aim to create something transparent, more focused on factual information." "Sure," Frank retorted. "You're merely looking out for your own interests. What, did you not gain the control you desired? So now you're creating your own AI? More money? More influence? Isn't that the goal?" A few murmurs of agreement arose from the surrounding tables. Although Elon's expression remained unchanged, Jada detected a subtle tension in his demeanor. It revealed a side of him that appeared vulnerable, a facet she had not previously witnessed. He was no stranger to criticism, and she assumed he was accustomed to it, perhaps even anticipating it. Yet there was something about the delivery of such remarks in this small, intimate setting that resonated differently. "Actually, no, it's not about power or profit," Musk replied, his tone steady. "It's about accountability. AI is one of the most potent tools we possess." Jada felt a weight in her chest as she stood behind the counter, overhearing the increasingly hostile criticisms directed at Elon Musk. The disdainful glances and harsh accusations aimed at him troubled her deeply. To her, Elon represented progress. He was a figure who not only spoke of change, but actively pursued it. Admittedly, he was a polarizing figure. Yet, what visionary was not? At last, she could no longer remain silent. She approached Frank's table, clearing her throat as she began to speak, her voice firm despite her racing heart. I understand that not everyone supports his endeavors, but labeling him as merely selfish is unjust, Jada remarked, casting her gaze around at the regular patrons who were now focused on her. This is a man who has invested in both space exploration and technology, and he also runs a foundation that aids hospitals and supports sick children. I have read about his initiatives. Regarding artificial intelligence, technology will advance regardless of our opinions. His efforts to enhance safety and transparency in this field are commendable. Wouldn't you agree? Her remarks seemed to resonate with Elon, who looked at her with a hint of surprise and perhaps gratitude. It dawned on her that he likely did not expect anyone to defend him, especially not a waitress in a modest cafe. Jada pressed on, gaining confidence. Just because he seeks to improve existing technologies does not imply that his motives are purely financial. Isn't innovation fundamentally about enhancing what we already have? The room fell silent for a brief moment. Some patrons appeared taken aback, while others maintained skeptical expressions. Jada had known these individuals for years, serving them coffee and pie, sharing laughter, and listening to their stories. Yet tonight, she felt as though she had become an outsider. Just then, her boss, Mr. Smith, emerged from the back, his brow furrowed as he surveyed the unfolding situation. He shifted his gaze from Jada to the other customers, his demeanor growing increasingly serious. "Jada, what is happening here?" His tone was sharp. She paused, swallowing hard. "I was merely defending Mr. Musk," she stated, her voice now softer, yet still tinged with defiance. Mr. Smith's frown deepened as he surveyed the regular patrons, some of whom nodded in disapproval, and shook his head. "Jada, I value your enthusiasm, but our regulars are the foundation of this establishment. We cannot have you in conflict with them over any customer, celebrity or not." "But Mr. Smith, I wasn't arguing, I was just—" He raised a hand, interrupting her. "I have made my decision. I believe it would be best to find someone else to fill your position. You may remain for a few more days until I secure a replacement." Jada's heart plummeted. The cafe had been her refuge, a sanctuary where she was familiar with the regulars and the daily rhythm. She had not anticipated that this would cost her job. A few customers around her chuckled, clearly entertained by the unfolding drama. She felt a wave of humiliation wash over her eyes brimming with tears despite her efforts to hold them back. She had only sought to defend someone she believed deserved a fair chance, but it had backfired spectacularly. Now, her remaining days at the cafe would be marred by awkward glances, hushed whispers, and the bitter taste of rejection. Elon, who had been quietly observing, rose to his feet. He regarded Jada with a blend of gratitude and regret, aware of the trouble his presence had caused. "Thank you for standing up for me, Jada," he said gently. "But I don't want to be the reason you lose your job. I will leave now." Jada looked up at him, blinking back tears, unsure of how to respond. In that moment, she appreciated his understanding. She offered him a small nod, her heart heavy as he turned to exit. Musk stepped out of the cafe, the bell above the door ringing softly as it closed behind him. The ensuing silence was overwhelming. Jada felt the weight of every gaze upon her, the burden of their disapproval pressing heavily on her shoulders. This black waitress had been dismissed for supporting Elon Musk, yet the following day brought an unexpected surprise for her. Upon arriving at work, Jada felt a profound sense of disillusionment. Entering Poppy's cafe, she was overwhelmed by a sense of defeat, her eyelids heavy from a night of unrest. The burden of searching for a new job loomed over her, but what troubled her more was the anticipated sympathetic gaze from the regular patrons. The events of the previous day were still vivid in her memory, having been dismissed for defending someone she respected. It seemed unjust, yet here she was, attempting to navigate through the day. As the lunch rush began to subside, the doorbell chimed. Jada barely lifted her gaze from the coffee machine until she caught the sound of hushed excitement. Her stomach churned as she turned to see Elon Musk standing at the entrance, a subtle smile gracing his lips. He surveyed the room, offering a courteous nod to the intrigued patrons before settling at the same window table he had occupied the night before. A hush fell over the cafe. Mr. Smith, the owner, was present as well, anxiously lingering near the counter. Some of the regulars from the previous evening exchanged glances between Elon and Jada, their curiosity about his return to their quaint cafe evident. Jada endeavored to maintain her composure, though her hands trembled slightly as she approached him with his coffee and a slice of apple pie. She managed a courteous smile while placing the items on the table, but did not linger. Uncertain of his reasons for returning, she wished to avoid any further complications. She occupied herself with other customers, half expecting him to depart as quietly as he had the night before. However, Elon remained. Sipping his coffee, he occasionally cast glances in her direction. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, he looked up and signaled for her to bring him the bill. Taking a deep breath, Jada retrieved the card machine and approached his table. As she reached him, she summoned her most professional smile, sliding his card into the machine. "Thank you for coming in again," she said softly, still acutely aware of the previous day's events. She sensed the weight of everyone's gaze upon her. She observed him closely, her curiosity evident about the unfolding situation. Elon returned her gaze, his demeanor softening. "Jada, I want to express my gratitude for your support last night," he said, his tone low yet heartfelt. "I understand it came at a cost, and not everyone would have acted as you did." Jada lowered her eyes, a faint smile appearing on her lips. "I merely spoke my truth," she responded, maintaining a composed voice. "No one should be judged based on a single perspective." Elon nodded in contemplation, then leaned in slightly, ensuring he had her full attention. "After I left here last night, I couldn't shake off your actions from my mind. So, I consulted with my team, and we would be thrilled to have someone with your compassion and integrity join us." Jada's stomach churned with astonishment, her hands momentarily pausing on the card machine. "What do you mean?" she inquired, struggling to grasp the reality of his words. Elon offered her an encouraging smile. "We operate a foundation, and we are always seeking individuals who genuinely care and excel in interpersonal relations. If you are interested, we could certainly use someone like you at the call center. While it may not be glamorous, it would provide stable employment, and who knows, it could lead to something greater." Jada blinked, her mind racing to comprehend his offer. Her heart raced as she realized he was proposing a job, an actual opportunity that could steer her life in a new direction. She searched his face for any sign of insincerity, but all she found was a warm smile. She hesitated, unsure of how to respond, but a smile broke through her initial shock. Elon chuckled gently, encouraging her to simply say yes, assuring her they would sort out the details later. Without a moment's hesitation, she nodded enthusiastically, exclaiming, "Yes, yes, I would be delighted," her voice filled with emotion. The regular patrons exchanged glances. Some appeared embarrassed, while others remained in stunned silence. Jada felt a surge of happiness as she handed Elon the card machine to complete the payment. He entered his PIN and provided her with a receipt, yet she understood this was not an ordinary transaction. As Elon prepared to leave, he offered her a final nod. "I will see you soon, Jada. My team will reach out." With that, he exited Poppy's cafe, leaving behind a profound silence and a deeply appreciative waitress. Jada stood there, her heart racing as she recognized that by defending someone she believed in, she had not only supported him, but had also unlocked an unexpected, transformative opportunity. What do you think drove Jada to defend Elon Musk in the cafe, even at the risk of her job? Was her motivation purely admiration, or did it stem from something more profound? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.